Well, hello YouTube and welcome back to the Holtz Mitchell channel. As you can tell, I don't have much of a voice today. But anyway, we're going to be looking at how to cut a keyway into a full-length shaft. The shaft here is out of the groovy bed weinig, and it's a guide shaft for the insertion magazine. So it has a keyway guide along so that the sled doesn't turn on the shaft. And so the old shaft was bent. I tried to salvage it. Unfortunately, it was too far gone, and so I had to make a new one. So I'll put the technical data in not only the description below, but I'll put it on the screen so that you guys can see what's going on with the material, what type of cutter we're using, the feeds and speeds and so forth, so that way you get a better idea. Anyway, we did finish the hold down clamps for the V blocks, and that's one of the things that had to be done for this job so that the shaft doesn't rotate. You got to have those in order to make sure that the shaft doesn't rotate on the table as we're advancing it. So anyway, without any further ado, let me reposition the camera and give you guys a better bird's eye view of what's going on here on the table. And like I said, I'll be posting the technical data in the comments or in the description below, so that you guys can take a better look and see what's going on. So anyway, enjoy the show, and hopefully you can get something out of it. So here you can see we've got V block over here, and then another one over here. The bar is the shaft is actually suspended. So what we did is zeroed out the dial on this side of the shaft, and then run it in exactly half. This is a 35 millimeter shaft, so we ran it in 17.5 millimeters. We're taking a 2.5 millimeter depth of cut to start with. We're going to be taking this in 3 passes. So that way we're not overtaxing the bit. This is a HSS cobalt alloy bit, best suited for stainless steel. Although this is not a stainless steel shaft, we're going to be running coolant on it just to make sure that things don't get it too hot on the thing. We're going to be turning it at 920 RPM. Let me reset the belt here. So, and here we go. So for these hold downs, what I've done is I've made 2 screws. One has a little bit of a pointy tip to it. Let's see if we can focus in on that. You can see a little bit of a point here to it, a very shallow point. And then the other is flat, so that way when I get into this groove here on the shaft, I'm going to use the flat one, so that way the V-block can't twist or tilt. The flat part of the screw helps maintain the alignment. So as you can see, got to use knurled, so that way you got a little bit of a better purchase on the small part of the screw. So now we're going to advance the shaft in the vise. What I've also done here, let me bring you around and I'll show you. Okay, here we've got, I'm going to raise the quill. Now, I've made a step in the bottom of the, sorry about my arm here, in the groove. Let's see if you can see that, yeah. So that way now I don't have to raise and lower the table to try to fit this. I can work solely with the quill. So when I advance the shaft forward, I'm going to run the table back as far as I can, run the shaft out to where I can pick it up on the table, and then all I have to do then is just drop the bit down into the groove and start over, and that way I don't have to raise or lower the table in order to try to pick up the cut. So that saves me quite a bit of monkeying around trying to figure out where I'm at. And so let's back up here and take a look at how this is going to work. Now we're going to advance our cut here. We'll take this back up the line. Now that the end of the shaft will be hanging over the table, we don't want to lose all our coolant. We're going to put a little wad of paper in here just to kind of dam things up a little bit so that the coolant doesn't get lost. Now we can loosen up the vise, get the crud out. You pick up a little more on the travel. see if we can get all the way through. And we can't. Review our product here, fresh off the mill. As you can see down here in the bottom, there's one little, well, a mark, witness mark, you could call it, I guess. Here you can see where the cut picked up. But this mark down here in the bottom is from not returning the bottom cut back on the return. We're returning the rod back, but this is the unfinished. I mean, I haven't even deburred it yet. As you can see, a nice crisp edge. There isn't much of a burr. This side looks really good. Focus. There we go. And so we've got a nice clean cut all the way through. And as you can see here, where the pickups were, there's a little bit of a apprentice mark there, but nothing to really affect the performance of what this shaft will be doing later. This side, of course, is just about perfect. There's nothing that a guy can fault there. Let's see, here we go. Here's the other joint. Again, the pickup is almost perfect. You got one little nick down in there again. Again, nothing to get excited about. Same thing here. The other side. Now this bit it's been sharpened, so it's not exactly 10 millimeters across on the diameter anymore. And so the guide rod that goes in here is going to have to be ground down a little bit. Well, YouTube, that's a wrap for today's long groove, and I hope you guys were able to get something out of this. Sorry about the lack of voice. Had an allergic reaction to something last week that kind of put me in this condition, and hopefully the voice will recover soon. Anyway, the technical data is down below in the description, and if you like what you saw as far as me putting the technical data up on screen and as well as in the description, let me know, and I'll keep doing it if it's any help to you. If not, well, we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. So anyway, I'd like to thank all the subscribers that keep coming back for this kind of stuff, and hope to see you guys again soon.